The Beetlejuice sequel is almost here, and it's so nice, Tim Burton named it twice. Here's what you missed in the trailer for Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Eagle-eyed fans knew from the teaser that Beetlejuice Beetlejuice would not be bringing back the original movie's most problematic actor, but the trailer straight up confirms it. Astrid Deetz says to her mother Lydia Deetz,
"Can't believe Grandpa's dead.
Death is hard."
Yeah, sometimes I think life is harder.
So it's definitely Charles Deetz, played by now convicted sex offender Jeffrey Jones in the first film, being laid to rest. His grave is rather tellingly marked by a shark fin-shaped crystal stone, which was shown in the teaser trailer. Some fans already have elaborate theories on how Charles met his demise, but that grave marker means he could end up just like the shark attack guy in the Netherworld waiting room from the original Beetlejuice. Life comes at you fast, but the afterlife moves nice and slow. By the end of the original film, Beetlejuice is stuck in the Netherworld waiting room with a ticket number in the 9 trillions. At some point between then and now, Beetlejuice clearly managed to get out of that waiting room and into a new office job, complete with a desk full of trinkets. In a brief moment, his job title is actually revealed: Afterlife Call Center Manager. Glimpsed briefly on Beetlejuice's work desk are a black and white Rubik's Cube, a green rotary phone, a blue rotary phone, and a red rotary phone, the latter under a glass dome. He's got a World's Best Boss mug and a plaque stating his job title right next to a stray cockroach. These items speak to a life of productivity and rehabilitation for the otherwise rogue ghoul. Too bad all of his desk decor is eclipsed by a framed photo of the object of Beetlejuice's obsession, the teenaged Lydia Deetz. The Shrunken Head Guy from Beetlejuice is back in a big way in the sequel. Fans of the original film will remember the micro-domed Harry the Hunter as the apparent victim of retaliation from the witch doctor, who was also in the Netherworld waiting room. In the ending of the original film, Beetlejuice has his head shrunk for trying to switch tickets with the witch doctor, and apparently this bit of magic gave someone an idea, maybe even Beetlejuice himself. In the trailer for Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, there are multiple shrunken head people working the phones at the call center that Beetlejuice might just be the boss of. There's more than one way to get ahead in the afterlife, but it seems like Beetlejuice took that maxim literally. Of course, there could be another explanation or inspiration for the return of the Shrunken Head Guy, or guys. A reworked Harry the Hunter, also known as I Am Smallhead, was a recurring character in the animated Beetlejuice series.
No, not that door! No, not that door!
Beetlejuice Beetlejuice is a rarity in that it's a sequel that has everyone really excited. Fans of the original can't wait, and those who dug Wednesday are all over it. It has cross-generational appeal. And if you're a longtime Tim Burton fan, then you were no doubt on the lookout for cameos in the trailer. You may have noticed one familiar face pop up. Danny DeVito appears in a literal blink and you'll miss it moment. It happens very quickly, but it's clearly him. DeVito appears to play an innocent janitor who gets zapped with a blast of electricity while simply trying to do his job. Is this the work of the mischievous Beetlejuice or some other unnamed adversary? This cameo promises a Batman Returns reunion of sorts for DeVito and Keaton, who played the Penguin and Batman.
My baby!
Beetlejuice was obsessed with marrying Lydia in the original film. Right before the two nearly tie the knot, Beetlejuice reveals that he was married once before.
I'm telling you, honey, she meant nothing to me. Nothing at all.
This seems like a throwaway joke, and it was exactly that at the time, but it appears as though this moment will inform the sequel in a big way. Monica Bellucci will appear in Beetlejuice Beetlejuice as Beetlejuice's first wife, Dolores, and we get a few quick glimpses of her in the trailer. The fact that her face is haphazardly stitched together suggests that she was in pieces at one stage, which explains the missing finger. During the wedding scene from the first film, Beetlejuice magically provides a red wedding dress for Lydia to wear. She drifts over to him decked out in the iconic number, shocked into silence but looking fabulous under the circumstances. Eagle-eyed fans will have no doubt noticed that Winona Ryder appears in a near-identical dress in the Beetlejuice Beetlejuice trailer, and what's more, she seems to be standing in a church. Does this mean that Beetlejuice will once again try to marry Lydia? It certainly seems that way.
I'm gonna make you so happy.
However, he'll have more than just an unwilling bride to deal with this time around. Beetlejuice's first wife is on the hunt for him throughout the trailer, and she clearly isn't happy with him. Of course, there's always the chance that Lydia will go ahead and willingly marry Beetlejuice in an attempt to save her daughter. The trailer makes it clear that it's Astrid who summons Beetlejuice by saying his name 3 times, and this might be her only way out. While Delia's main professional focus is sculpting, her outfits may suggest that fashion is another favorite hobby of hers. The first film featured plenty of fashionable moments, including a glove-shaped headband and plenty of black ensembles that are to die for. The Beetlejuice Beetlejuice trailer proves that Delia has maintained that eye-catching wardrobe by wearing similar clothes, including fully black ensembles and dramatic dresses complemented with statement earrings. There is also one accessory that fans may recall from some very important scenes. As Delia grieves her late husband, she can be seen wearing a top hat embellished with a black ribbon. The hat is a callback to Delia's impromptu wedding wardrobe in Beetlejuice. She can be seen wearing a black top hat that has a red ribbon tied around it. This hat could very well be the same hat that Delia wears to the funeral, with the red ribbon swapped out for a black one due to the circumstances. The soundtrack of the original Beetlejuice shined a spotlight on calypso music, turning the Jamaican folk song Deo, the Banana Boat song, into a cinematic sensation. The catchy tune is back in the Beetlejuice Beetlejuice trailer, but this cover is not as peppy as the rendition sung by Harry Belafonte. The haunting tones of this new spin on the track include a single, somber voice singing at the beginning of the trailer. While the sequel's first full trailer only features the first few bars of the song, the teaser trailer, released in March 2024, cuts to a children's choir picking up the next set of lyrics before the lead singer chimes in again to sing more of the song. This is all in stark contrast to the zany dinner party possession scene that the song has been synonymous with since the original film premiered in 1988. Catherine O'Hara was first to confirm that the song would be in the sequel while being interviewed for the podcast Let's Talk Off Camera with Kelly Ripa. Belafonte originally recorded the track for his 1956 album Calypso. The late singer told Pitchfork in 2018 that he was surprised when he received a call from producer David Geffen asking if his music could be used in the first film. Belafonte said, "I never had a request like that before. We talked briefly. I liked the idea of Beetlejuice, I liked him, and I agreed to do it." Delia's eccentric artwork is perhaps just as iconic as the music of Beetlejuice. Her scary leaf-like statue stands proudly outside the Deetz family home in the first full trailer for Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Seeing the piece outside might come as a surprise to fans considering that it was so difficult to get it into the house in the first film.
Why are you doing this to me? This is my art and it is dangerous!
The statue would later come to life, so to speak, wrapping itself about Delia and keeping her in her place so that she can be a witness to Beetlejuice and Lydia's pending nuptials. It is possible that the statue could have walked outside after the ceremony was scrapped, or maybe it was reanimated by the Maitlands as some sort of joke, or maybe it was just moved outside between films for better feng shui. While Barbara Maitland is Adam's one true love, his second love is the town of Winter River, Connecticut. That's evident from the sprawling miniature model he built of the place. He painstakingly paid attention to each detail, from the houses to the graveyard. It's the first thing that audiences see following the opening credits of the original, so it is only fitting that the model is included in the full trailer for Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Lydia's daughter Astrid finds the model after the trailer shows wide shots of different parts of the town. It appears that Adam's work has gone undisturbed for a while, with Astrid removing a large dust cover. Unfortunately, she is not greeted by the friendly Maitland couple. Both Alec Baldwin and Geena Davis are absent from Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. The sandworms are back for blood in Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. In the first film, the sandworm hates Beetlejuice with a passion, and the ghost with the most isn't exactly a fan of the worm either. We last saw the beast devour Beetlejuice and send him to the waiting room in the afterlife mid-wedding. It seems like the sandworm is back for the sequel, chasing after Lydia and Astrid in the Beetlejuice Beetlejuice trailer. This creature is just one example of how Tim Burton showcased his passion for stop-motion animation in the first film. The art form has since become a hallmark of his work, and it was an element that he wanted to keep in the follow-up. Speaking to Entertainment Weekly about the new film, he said, "It needed a back-to-basics handmade quality. It re-energized why I love making movies." The original film tells us that Beetlejuice can't say his own name, and he has some tried-and-true tricks to keep others from saying it to banish him. One scene from the Beetlejuice Beetlejuice trailer shows Lydia fighting for her words while faced with the demon. Upon her first utterance of the word Beetlejuice, he takes action by sewing her mouth shut. It's a moment that closely mirrors a scene from the original film. At the end of the film, just as Beetlejuice is about to marry Lydia, Barbara tries to say his name 3 times before it's too late. Instead, she gets her lips zipped or stitched.
Beetlejuice! Beetlejuice!
One scene shown in the Beetlejuice Beetlejuice trailer depicts ghosts dancing in flashy clothing on a train platform. While we don't know if there's going to be singing in the scene, the dancing seems like a sly reference to Beetlejuice the musical. The stage adaptation of the film landed at the Winter Garden Theater on Broadway in 2019, with the first preview taking place in March of that year. Performances were suspended in March 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, with the show returning to Broadway in April 2022. The show went on a national tour starting in December of that year. The musical adaptation was a success, at least when it came to awards, earning 8 nominations at the 2022 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. It was less of a financial success on Broadway, closing at a loss in January 2023. The musical is not an exact recreation of the film, but it keeps many of its iconic elements. One big change is that the stage story does find Lydia running through a little bit of the afterlife, which might be why we're getting a nod to the production in the new film.